All right, folks, we're back again with Justine Laurie. She is a CPA here in Gloucester. How are you doing, Justine?
Doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Are you still above water or what?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I feel like I'm starting to kind of get in this groove of the fact that there's 4 people in my house at all times. And tax season is pretty much simmered down, at least for now, until, the week before July 15th, when I have all my stragglers coming back in. But a lot of my small business owner clients are finally starting to see some relief. They've seen some nice deposits in their bank accounts this week from the government. So people are starting to panic a little bit less, which is amazing.
Yeah, so I actually, as we speak, I got my EIDL this morning.
Awesome.
Relief there too. And I'm working on the PPP as well. Do you want to relay the info that you shared yesterday with folks, like the latest developments?
About the PPP or the stimulus payments?
The PPP.
Because there's okay. So with, what was it, Monday? I don't even know what day it is. Was it Thursday? Sunday this week, they passed the funding to replenish the PPP system. So I believe it was like another 350, somewhere between 300 and 400 billion to replenish funds for the PPP loan. And they earmarked, I want to say, like 60 billion of that specifically for small community banks, so that our small business owners aren't left in the dark like they were with the first round.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, okay. And what was I going to say? Most of the people, I'm sorry, Heather?
Could you comment on being left in the dark? I mean, how that felt?
Yeah, well, it was just kind of abruptly ran out of funding the first round. I had a lot of clients who had applications in, or if they were a sole proprietor, they weren't even available to submit an application until April 10th. And I think it was the 11th or 12th where the SBA ran dry. They had fully given out all 349 billion they had earmarked for the PPP. So a lot of people, were told, you can't apply yet, and now all the money's gone.
And it was pretty interesting to see some of those posts like Ruths Steakhouse receiving $20 million and hotels receiving $50 million. I mean, how did that feel to you and your clients?
I mean, people were pretty mad because this was supposed to be about small businesses, and the government's definition of small business is very different from the average person's definition of small business. And there were some loopholes that allowed larger places like Ruth's Chris to essentially look at each restaurant as its own business rather than Ruth's Chris as a whole, which is what resulted in these really large businesses getting funding. And I believe that there were a lot of businesses that were close to that 10 million per business mark. And if you have a ton of those, that leaves not much for the, thousands and thousands of very small business loans. And a lot of these places, they don't need a lot comparatively. Sometimes 10, 20,000 is all that they need to kind of make it through between now and when we hopefully reopen again. So in the interim, I know specifically, I talked to Andrew at KBN Savings Bank. He said, keep on sending your applications in. We are confident that they're going to get funded, and we'll keep you in line. And I know that most of my clients that were in that first round of applications got funded this week on their PPP loans. And then, as Corey mentioned, the EIDL advances are showing up. And also they're getting back to communicating with people who applied for the or who need the EIDL, the full loan. But just as an example, I had a client that applied like March 19th, and she just was communicated with the end of last week as far as getting her EIDL loan. So she got the advance, and then like the next day they approved her for the loan. So it's coming. It's just really slow.
So,
Well,
and I
that's such good
understand.
news, though.
I'm sorry. So I just like it's going even back to the PPP that I think they simplified the application process.
I don't know that, but they could have because you apply through the bank. So are they asking for less? Is that what you found?
I think so. I think they've just simplified it into terms where the whole process online now, it's easy. You get directed to your banker regardless. It's
Yeah,
recommended, but
I think there was a huge bottleneck with the site kept on going down. So I know like the bankers weren't able to get the applications in, and then had to wait a long time to get a loan number and approval back from the SBA. And I think that that's been fixed, and that's why they're actually able to kind of get moving with these applications now. So I'm telling everybody, you know, I had told everybody before, get your stuff ready. If your bank will accept it, get it in. If not, have it ready so the second they reopen, you know, you can get in line and get this if you need it. I have no doubt that this thing is all go extreme.
did you want to touch on the stimulus package at all?
Sure, yeah. So a lot of people saw their stimulus payment deposited in their bank accounts on tax day, April 15th. And among those were mainly people that had received a refund by direct deposit either in 2018 or 2019, whichever was their most recently filed return. If you owed on your most recent return, you didn't get it yet. And they have now released a schedule for, it's based on AGI, so adjusted gross income, which on 2018, it was line 7 of the tax return. And they are rolling out the stimulus payments now week by week based on lowest to highest. So for instance, if your adjusted gross income was like 10 or 20,000, you're getting those now. And if it was 150,000, so kind of the top end of the threshold, those are going to come out in like July and August.
And for people who I know we went into this before, who don't have direct deposit accessibility, any word on that?
Yeah, so there's a website. I have all of these resources on my Facebook page, but there's an article on there that gives the schedule by week as far as when they're going to be rolling these payments out. But there's also a direct link to the IRS website. It's called like Where's My Stimulus or Where's My Payment tool. And there's a link there where you enter in your information. And if your check is potentially ready or soon to be ready, you should be able to enter your direct deposit information in there. For people who are further along down the line as to when they will be getting it, it doesn't seem to be available to put your information in yet. But I did read that they are adding people every day to the system. So my advice would be is if you haven't been able to do this yet and you don't have a check yet, just keep on checking every day, every couple days. And eventually it should open up to be able to put your information in there if you're eligible for a check.
Justine, did you get any sort of vibe at all, whether it's just from your clients or the community, about one, like how helpful this infusion of money is, and any sort of timeline to how long most of these small businesses can actually sustain in the current state?
So unfortunately, it really depends on how healthy the business was prior to this happening. You know, I have some clients that are really good at saving and having an emergency fund so that they could weather this with or without the help. And then there are a lot of small businesses that live essentially sale to sale, and they're hurting. And for some, that's their only household income. So, and it's scary. The thing with the PPP loan is it's great if you've been able to continue to operate in one way or another. But for these businesses that are completely shut down, their only option to really see benefit is to get their workforce back on payroll. And of course, then there's that issue of the unemployment. That $600 extra infusion is appealing to people, and some don't really want it. It doesn't make sense. You know, they can make more on unemployment for some people, not a lot, but it does look like that for some people. And also, you know, it's a hard thing to wrap your head around as a business owner to be paying someone to sit at home and do nothing.
Right.
But it should be beneficial for people that at least have the option to have some type of workforce in place right now, or that should hopefully be able to reopen in a few weeks.
And also, I haven't heard anything yet, but I imagine there might be some other avenues of relief for small businesses in the future, whether that's at a local or state level.
Yeah, there's a state fund that just opened up on Monday, I believe. The chambers actually sent out information on that, but it's only available to a small, you know, I believe it's first come, first served. I would imagine it's probably gone, but I don't know that. But I would hope that, you know, you see all these little funds popping up for restaurant workers. I know the Iconos have put something together for that. And there's other groups of people that are doing things like that. So I hope that the kind of the local involvement will continue to be there. And I hope that maybe, you know, our new normal might just be that we wear masks everywhere for a while. But I do hope that our small businesses are able to get back to some type of at least new normal for them soon, because a lot of people aren't going to be able to sustain this much longer.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time. Once again, we know it was short notice, but at least some positive news this week. And hopefully we keep working on this upward trend here. So if people want to learn more about your findings or contact you directly, how can they do that?
As far as my findings, I've been posting everything as I find it right on my Facebook page. So on my business page. So it's Justine Laurie, CPA. And the best way to get in touch with me is through my contact form on my website, JustineLaurieCPA.com.
Perfect. All right, we'll have that in there. Okay, thanks again, Justine. We'll be in touch.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.